Malawi, a long, narrow country in southeastern Africa, is a place where the land and the people are deeply intertwined. Stretching along the edge of the Great Rift Valley, Malawi is a country shaped by its geography and its history, with landscapes that seem to go on forever, and a culture that is as rich as it is welcoming. It's known as the warm heart of Africa, not just for its climate, but for the warmth of its people. Here, hospitality isn't just a custom, it's a way of life. Whether you're a stranger or a friend, you're greeted with open arms and genuine smiles. The people here are incredibly friendly and welcoming, their spirit shining even in tough times. Despite facing challenges, Malawians are known for their resilience and optimism, always finding reasons to celebrate and share joy with others. The landscape is stunning. High mountains, green valleys, and most of all, the vast Lake Malawi. The scenery changes with every turn, from rolling hills dotted with villages to lush forests and fertile farmland. This lake is the nation's heart, providing food, work, and endless beauty. For generations, families have depended on its waters for fishing, farming, and daily life. The lake is a source of stories, traditions, and livelihoods. Lake Malawi is the third largest lake in Africa, so big you can't see the other side. Its shores stretch for hundreds of kilometers, touching 3 countries and connecting countless communities along its banks. Its clear waters are home to colorful cichlid fish, many found nowhere else. These vibrant fish are a wonder for scientists and snorkelers alike, making the lake a living aquarium and a global treasure for biodiversity. The lake is sometimes called the Lake of Stars, a name inspired by the lanterns of fishermen at night. As darkness falls, hundreds of tiny lights float on the water, mirroring the stars above and creating a magical, unforgettable scene. This magical place was my destination. I'd heard stories of its beauty and the kindness of its people, and I was eager to experience it for myself. My challenge was simple, but not easy. Experience its wonders on just $50 for a full day and night. That meant covering accommodation, food, and activities, all while truly immersing myself in local life. Many think travel is expensive, but the best experiences often cost very little. Sometimes the most memorable moments come from simple pleasures, watching a sunrise, sharing a meal, or making a new friend. I wanted to prove you can have an amazing adventure in Malawi without spending much. It's about being open to new experiences, embracing the unknown, and letting the journey surprise you. It's about connecting with people and nature, not luxury. The real treasures of Malawi are found in its communities, its landscapes, and the everyday moments that make travel meaningful. So, with a small budget and big excitement, I set off. My heart was full of curiosity, and my mind was open to whatever the day would bring. My goal was to immerse myself in life around Lake Malawi, to swim in its clear waters, meet locals, and taste the food that sustains this region. I wanted to learn from the people who call this place home and see the world through their eyes. This journey was about authenticity, not luxury. It was about finding joy in the simple things and discovering the true spirit of Malawi. I was ready to discover the true character of this beautiful country, to see how far $50 could take me, and to share the stories of the people I'd meet along the way. The sun was rising, painting the lake in gold, and my $50 adventure was just beginning. With every step, I felt the promise of new experiences and the warmth of Malawi's heart welcoming me in. The journey to the lake began in a crowded Matola minibus, packed to the brim with people, chickens clucking in woven baskets, and sacks of maize stacked high in the aisle. The air was thick with the scent of earth and sweat, and every bump in the road sent a ripple of laughter or chatter through the passengers. It was a true slice of Malawian life, and I felt both out of place and completely welcomed at the same time. Lively Malawian music played from a crackling radio, blending with the sounds of the road as we passed through villages dotted with thatched huts. Children ran alongside the minibus, waving enthusiastically, their faces lighting up with wide smiles. Women balanced baskets on their heads, and goats wandered lazily across the dusty paths. Every scene outside the window felt vibrant and full of energy, a living tapestry of rural Malawi. The landscape began to change as we left the villages behind. Dry, sun-baked plains gave way to rolling green hills, lush with vegetation and dotted with wildflowers. The air grew fresher, and a gentle breeze hinted at the water ahead. The anticipation in the minibus was palpable. Everyone seemed to sense we were nearing something special. Stepping off the bus, I was immediately struck by the sight before me. a vast, sparkling blue lake stretching endlessly to the horizon. The water shimmered in the sunlight, reflecting the sky in 1,000 shades of blue. It was more breathtaking than I had imagined, and for a moment I simply stood in awe, taking it all in. The sand beneath my feet was soft and golden, warm from the afternoon sun. Smooth boulders dotted the shoreline, creating natural seats to pause and admire the view. Gentle waves lapped at the shore, their rhythmic sound blending with the distant laughter of children and the calls of birds overhead. The whole scene felt peaceful, almost timeless, as if the lake had been waiting for me to arrive. My first task was to find a place to stay for the night. With my backpack slung over my shoulder, I wandered along the lakeside, passing a handful of small lodges and simple huts nestled among the trees. Each place had its own charm, and I was greeted with friendly waves and curious glances from locals and fellow travelers alike. Eventually, I discovered a small family-run lodge right on the sand. The huts were simple, with thatched roofs and wooden doors, but their location, just steps from the water, made them feel like paradise. The air was filled with the scent of lake breeze and cooking fires, and I could hear the gentle splash of waves just outside. The owner, David, greeted me with a warm smile and a handshake. He showed me to a basic room with a bed, a mosquito net, and a window that opened onto a stunning view of the lake. It was simple but perfect, and at just $10 for the night, it felt like an incredible find. David told me stories of the lake and his family, making me feel instantly at home. After dropping my bag, I wandered back to the beach and stood quietly, letting the scene wash over me. The sun was beginning to dip lower in the sky, casting a golden glow across the water. I felt a sense of freedom and excitement, knowing that this was just the beginning of my adventure. Nearby, fishermen sat beneath a mango tree, carefully mending their nets and sharing stories. Children played football on the sand, their laughter echoing across the beach. Life here moved at a gentle, unhurried pace, and everyone seemed to be in tune with the rhythms of the lake. Everything in this place revolved around the lake. Boats bobbed gently in the shallows, women washed clothes at the water's edge, and the community's daily life unfolded in harmony with the ebb and flow of the waves. As the sky shifted to hues of pink and orange, I sat quietly on the sand, feeling a deep sense of calm settle over me. The peaceful atmosphere, the kindness of the people, and the beauty of Lake Malawi made me realize that this would be a truly special day, one I would remember for years to come. With only $50 in my pocket, every kwacha truly counted. I knew from the start that making this budget work would require careful planning, creativity, and a willingness to embrace the unexpected. Each decision, from where I slept to what I ate, would shape my experience in Malawi. My plan was simple: live like a local, not just to save money, but to gain a real, immersive experience. By blending in and choosing local options, I hope to stretch my budget and discover the heart of this lakeside community. After paying $10 for a modest but comfortable room, I was left with $40 for everything else: food, water, and activities. It was a challenge, but also an opportunity to prioritize what mattered most. For breakfast, I chose mandasi, Malawian donuts, still warm from the fryer, and a juicy mango from a village stall. The flavors were simple but delicious, and the cost was just about $1. Eating local not only saved money, but also connected me to the rhythms of daily life here. I set aside $15 for food and water, determined to eat at bustling local stalls instead of pricier tourist restaurants. This way, I could try authentic dishes, meet local vendors, and make my money go further. That left me with $25 for activities and anything unexpected that might come up. It was a balancing act, but one that made every choice feel meaningful. I hoped to hire a canoe and paddle out onto the lake, maybe even join local fishermen for a glimpse into their daily routine. I also wanted to buy a small handmade souvenir, something to remember this place by, crafted by local hands. Or perhaps I'd spend a few dollars to hire a local guide, someone who could share stories and show me hidden corners of the lakeshore. The real key to budget travel, I realized, is attitude, finding joy in simple things, like a sunset over the water or laughter with new friends. My $40 felt less like a restriction and more like a ticket to a full day of adventure, discovery, and connection. In the end, the budget wasn't a limitation. It was a guide, leading me to a more authentic, meaningful journey, one where every kwacha and every moment truly mattered. After breakfast, I couldn't resist the lake any longer. I changed and waded into the clear, cool water. It felt like a giant natural swimming pool, safe, calm, and inviting. I swam out, surrounded by colorful kitchlid fish darting in the sunlight. Floating on my back, I felt completely at peace. This experience cost nothing, yet it was one of the best parts of my trip. Local children joined me, laughing and splashing. We didn't share a language, but we shared the joy of the water. Moments like these are priceless. Connection with nature and people, not things. My budget was still nearly full, but I already felt rich. After swimming, I wanted to explore the lake further. I met Joseph, a young man renting out dugout canoes called Boato. For $5, I hired a canoe and paddled out onto the calm blue water. The view from the canoe was incredible. Close to the water, surrounded by granite boulders and birds. I saw fish eagles perched on rocks, their calls echoing across the lake. The water was so clear I could see the bottom far below. For an hour, it was just me, the canoe, and the vast lake. When I returned, Joseph and I chatted about fishing and life. This simple adventure and conversation were worth far more than the price. My budget was now down to $34, but my memories were growing fast. By midday, I was hungry and headed to the bustling village market. The air was filled with the smells of fresh produce, dried fish, and spices. Stalls overflowed with tomatoes, beans, and green vegetables. The fish section featured chambo, the national dish. I found a food stall serving enzima, a thick maize porridge, with a bean and tomato relish. The meal cost about $1. Eating with my hands, I enjoyed the simple, delicious food while watching the lively market. People bargained, greeted each other, and shared stories. Lunch here was more than a meal, it was a window into local life. My total food spending so far, just $2. With a full stomach, I spent the afternoon observing village life from the shade of a baobab tree. The lake is the village's lifeblood. Fishermen head out in the morning, women buy fish in the afternoon, and children play by the shore. Women washed clothes on rocks, their colorful kitenge fabrics drying in the sun. Children played simple games, their laughter filling the air. There was a strong sense of community. Everyone knew each other and helped out. Men worked together to pull in fishing nets, singing as they hauled. This spirit of Umanthu, I am because we are, was everywhere. The afternoon cost me nothing, but taught me everything about Malawian life. As evening fell, the sky exploded in colors. Orange, pink, and purple reflected on the calm lake. Villagers paused to watch the sunset, and fishermen prepared lanterns for night fishing, creating the Lake of Stars. For dinner, I tried grilled chambo fish with rice at a simple beachside restaurant, just $6. I added a local beer for $1. The meal was fresh and delicious, the setting unforgettable. The restaurant owner joined me, sharing stories about the lake and his family. We exchanged tales about our different lives. The cost was minimal, but the experience was priceless. My total spending for the day, about $24. I still had more than half my budget left. That night, I lay in my simple hut, listening to the waves and reflecting on my day. With just $50, I'd swum in crystal water, paddled a canoe, eaten local food, and made new friends. The best travel experiences aren't about money, they're about connection. Traveling on a budget pushed me to eat, travel, and talk like a local. I didn't just see Malawi, I felt its warm heart. Despite its challenges, Malawi's richness is in its spirit and generosity. The smiles, laughter, and kindness of the people are what I'll remember most. The lake, the sun, the stars, and the warmth are all free. My journey proved that adventure is accessible to everyone. Malawi gave me memories that will last a lifetime.